Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a full walkthrough all the way from Photoshop to the NSP program to the car. To start, we're going to open up Photoshop, start with a new canvas. I just put black as the background. And then this is going to be the RPM gauge area. I'm just going to make it a little bit rounded edges with a rectangle. And then kind of like an S2000 style, where it's going to be on an angle and sloping up. Now you can go ahead and duplicate that layer. I just shrunk it to make that angle pretty nice. Make sure it lines up so that it's fluent. So you can see there I had to move it up a little bit. Now the important part with this is you're going to want to merge these layers so that when you hit the quick select, it selects both of them. And then you select the background and hit delete. And that'll remove all of that area from the background. Now I'm going ahead and just adding all the tick marks for the RPM gauge. You just want to make sure that these are all evenly spaced out and the correct number of spaces for whatever RPM range that your car revs to. So for example, this one revs to 8,000, so I know I need 7 tick marks. Now I'm just going to show how you add a photo to it to add a little personalization and make it yours. So this is my logo. I just wanted to put it on the background. Center it. I just removed the black even though it's the same color as the background. And then change the opacity down a little bit. Make it a little nicer. I'm just going to add a little bit of a glow to it. Green's my favorite color and matches my car, so I'm just going to do that. You can play around with it, get what you like. I just want a very subtle little glow. And then end up adding it to the DRI logo as well. Now that I have it saved and everything, I'm going to start adding the parameters that I want to monitor on the screen. So the first one I know is oil pressure. You can play around with the fonts, whatever you want. Super customizable, and this is just an example. There are thousands of ways that you could do this. The reason that I add the labels to the background is that we only get 40 slots in the NSP program, so I try to make it so that it's the most efficient background so that it can cover all the bases and you don't have to add channels just to get text. Not everything matches, looks nice. I can go ahead and save and export it. Now I can open the NSP program, hit new, UC10 or whatever size dash you picked to begin with. I like to remove the other 2 dashes because I will not be using those. Now you add image. Go ahead and find the one that you exported. And you go ahead and fill the screen with it. Now when I uploaded it, you could see that those ticks were all in front of the background. So once you put those to the back, like I do here, it'll look all symmetrical. And you have to re-export it every time that you want to update the image. So here you can see I updated it, and now I added it, and now you can't see those lines anymore. The lines are still there, you're just only going to see it when I put this horizontal gauge behind that image. So you're going to want to change all these parameters to 0%. That's going to allow it to be invisible when there is no RPM, but then when it climbs, it's going to only show when it's behind the background. Now you can adjust the size and make sure it fits perfect, it lines up with all the ticks based off of RPM. But if you made them even, it should be. Now I'm just going to add the labels to each of the RPM levels. Now that the image is uploaded, you can see the changes that we made be applied. I do recommend saving very frequently. For some reason, I've had some pretty decent crashes that I've lost a decent amount of work with. So just try to always save pretty frequently. Okay, now we can add this horizontal gauge for the oil pressure. You can see me adjusting all the parameters that I want. This one you could do the cutouts as well, like we did the RPM. It would be the same process, and then you just match this gauge to the background. In this case, I wanted to actually keep the bar graph in front. As you can see, you can adjust stuff like the step size, which changes the distance between each line. You can change the size, the positioning, just trying to get it centered with the oil pressure text. And now the easiest way to keep repeating the same exact thing is just duplicate the layer. So I just duplicated it, changed the channel, changed it to fuel pressure, changed the pressures. Everything for me is PSI, can be whatever you'd like, and whatever the step size you want. If you want more lines, you add a lower step size. If you want less lines, you add a higher step size. So I'm just going to continue adding these to the channels on here and making them all even and whatever step sizes I want, whatever unit type I want. So I'm going to speed through this part since it's going to be the same as what I just showed you. You can change it to however you'd like. And we're going to add the numeric labels to each to represent the exact position that it is, because obviously on these bar graphs you can't see the exact number it is. It's just between 30 and 45 is the oil pressure. You don't know the exact number, whereas with the numeric number you will. Now that all the horizontal bar graphs are done, I can go ahead and add the numeric label for the RPM. It's pretty cool because you can add a font. Any one that you download, you can go ahead and add and use in this program. So you just download it online, unzip the file, and you can use it. While playing with these, I realized I forgot that I did not add a fuel gauge. So I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to show you how to kind of edit one while you're still using the program. So you're going to have to go back into Photoshop for this. But here I put the gauge in place of where I know I want it. And then we can go ahead and adjust it once we add the changes to the background. This is going to be a similar process to the RPM gauge. Here I just used a rectangle. Make sure it's centered. Select tool, you have to make sure it's rasterized. Click on the background, hit delete. Now I just add the empty and full gauge labels. And we can go ahead, export it, and upload it back into the NSP program. Now once again, you can see the changes were applied. And now I'm just going to make sure that the gauge fits perfectly inside that space we created. Okay, now onto the numeric labels. Now that all those are labeled, we're going to go ahead and add a boost gauge, which is now one of the circular retros. Here I'm just going to show how you can edit a little bit. Now here's another quick tool is you can change the needle. I have a bunch that I've already created and saved, but it's kind of fun to just play around. This one happens to land pretty perfectly on the numbers, but you can change the needle offset if you notice that it's a little bit off, and that could help whatever image you've created. Now I'm just going to add a numeric boost indicator in the middle of it. And this dash is pretty much complete. I did end up changing the battery and intake air temp text to match the middle of those bar graphs, but overall this was the final image. I hope this helped you guys, and I can't wait to keep making these for you. If you have any ideas or questions, drop them in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.